Just make up stuff.
Oh.
Glasses.
Hello and welcome to the show. Today we have John and Mark X Cronin, are the father-son team that created John's Crazy Socks, a social enterprise with a mission to spread happiness. They bootstrapped their business into the world's largest sock store, earning them recognition as EY's Entrepreneurs of the Year. John is not only an entrepreneur, but he also has Down syndrome. Every day, John and Mark show what people with differing abilities can do. More than half their colleagues have a differing ability. They are fierce advocates for the rights of people with differing abilities, having testified twice before the U.S. Congress, spoken at the United Nations, and recorded 2 TEDx talks. They are members of the CEO Commission on Disability and Employment. Their work has been featured on national broadcasts by CBS, ABC, CNBC, PBS, the BBC, and Fox News. I think this is going to be a great episode. I'm really excited to have them on here. They also have 29,000 5-star reviews on Facebook. So, John and Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to be here. Thanks for having us on, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great. So, like we said, your origin story we were talking about off camera. So, how did you guys get started with this?
Well, the story, we started in a small log cabin in the woods. No, not really. It started on suburban Long Island outside New York City just about 6 years ago. And where were you?
I was at Huntington High School. I could be my last in school.
So, Benjamin, you mentioned that John has Down syndrome. In the U.S., if you have a disability, you can stay in the public school system until you either graduate or turn 21. So John was his last year of school. And that's important because when you're in school, all your services and programs are right there in front of you. Once you're done, well, you're on your own. And depending what state you live in, there may be no services. There may be no programs. So John was trying to figure out what to do next. And what were you looking at?
I look at job, program, and school. I don't like options I don't like.
He didn't see anything he liked. And this is an unfortunate reality for people with different abilities. There just aren't enough jobs for them. But John here, he is a natural entrepreneur.
Yes, I am.
You didn't see a job you wanted. What'd you say?
I want to create one. I want to make one.
What'd you tell me?
I told my dad I want to business with him. And now he started that business together.
Now, I'm a lucky man. I've got 3 sons, and this is one I can work with.
Yeah, yeah.
So there we were. We're going to go into business together. Benjamin, you work with entrepreneurs all the time. So you know, entrepreneurs have lots of ideas, and some of them are good ideas.
Some aren't.
What was one of your ideas?
One of them is a food truck. I kept idea from the movie Chef and John Favreau. The movie about a father and son buying a food truck.
And this seemed pretty cool. And we're thinking, what could we make? Where would we put the food truck? We're getting all excited.
Right.
But we ran into a problem.
We can't cook.
Yeah, we can't. So it wasn't going to be a food truck. But then,
hot dogs.
Right before the U.S. Thanksgiving in November,
I have plenty idea. I want to sell crazy socks. Why socks? It's fun. It's colorful. It's creative. It's always let me be me. I want great sex my whole life.
We used to drive around looking for these socks for John. So we figured if John loved them that much, surely other people would too, and we could find our tribe. So we went the lean startup route. We said, let's get something up and running, and customers will let us know. So we built a website.
Yeah, we did.
Got a little bit of inventory. We were bootstrapping, right? We got asked not long ago by a student, what exactly is bootstrapping? What does that mean? Well, it means you have no money. So you have to make do with what you have. So the only marketing we did was to set up a Facebook page, and I took out my cell phone and we made videos. And who do you think was in those videos?
I talk about socks, more socks.
Right? And we noticed something. People started sharing those videos. What day did we open?
We opened on a Friday, December 9th, 2016.
We didn't know what to expect, but we were very fortunate. We got a flood of orders, or certainly felt like a flood of orders the first day. We got 42 orders, and most of them were local, and that made sense. You were in the high school, that's where we lived.
Yes.
So what did we do with those first orders?
I hope there was free red boxes. I put a sock in the box.
And we looked and said,
yeah,
this needs something else.
I was putting a bag of Hershey Kisses. I put a stick in the album.
We got these Hershey's Kisses bags, poured them in, got the boxes, loaded up the car, drove around, and you knocked on doors delivering socks, right?
I did.
How the customers respond?
Customers loved it. They did take a picture with me and the socks and share it on social media. I would get expect.
We had customers ordering again just to get John to come back to their door.
It's amazing.
And there were some funny nights, right, where we're out after 10 o'clock at night and John's knocking on doors saying, it's just John with your socks.
You sue me.
That's awesome.
But at the end of that month, really 2 weeks, we had shipped 452 orders, and we knew we had something. We knew that we could grow the business, and we learned a few things.
One, people want to buy socks. Two, people want to buy socks from me. That related to me.
It related to John. They related to the fact we had already pledged 5% of our earnings to the Special Olympics. And something I know is dear to your heart, Benjamin, they related to that personal touch, the thank you note, the candy, the home deliveries. And it was something that surprised us. We didn't expect. We got a very emotional response from people because they saw a young man with Down syndrome starting his own business. And you learn by doing. So we learned that this young man, this old man, we could sell socks. So that's how we got started. But you can see in that the DNA for what we've become. It's still there, right? And today, we created this social enterprise. So we have both a social and a business purpose, and they feed off of each other, right? If all we're doing is selling socks, you wouldn't be talking to us. I mean, we've gone out and counted. There are exactly 1 gazillion sock companies. And if all you're doing is selling socks, what do you say? Ours are better than yours.
And not smelling like yours.
They don't smell like yours. They're cheaper than yours. But we've got a story and a mission and a purpose, and that differentiates us in a marketplace. So today, how many socks do we have?
We have 4,000 different kinds of socks.
Which means John here owns the world's largest sock store. We've shipped over 390,000 packages to 88 different countries. We have created 34 jobs. Yep. 22 of those are held by people with different abilities. You mentioned, the reviews. Now we have over 30,000 5-star reviews. 96% of our reviews are 5-star reviews. If you know what the Net Promoter Score is, we have a 92, which is off the charts. And we've raised over $550,000 US for our charity partners. All because John said we should sell socks.
Absolutely.
It starts somewhere, right? But I think that's great that you guys were going and knocking on doors early on. I mean, that's quite an amazing story, quite an amazing experience. And it's interesting because the networking group I'm in, one of the entrepreneurs who does like the coaching in the group says about how he started his business before there was ever even social media, right? Which is just like a tool that you can use nowadays. And he talked about how back in the day, he had to go and knock on doors. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm blah, blah, blah. I live in this area. This is what we do. And he goes, and lots of people would just slam the door on him, but he'd have to keep going because he had nothing else to do. He couldn't afford to do, a billboard, and couldn't afford to do the news. And so he had to go and knock on doors. And that's how he built his whole business, was knocking on one door at a time. And the fact that you guys did something in the digital age of going and knocking on doors and hand delivering it, that's quite the experience for customers, because that's, they haven't seen that in a long time.
Well, I think it speaks to two things. One, it is that commitment, and we could talk about our 5 pillars, to making a personal connection, to making things personal, to sharing an experience with customers. And there's also another part to it, let's be honest. When you don't have a lot of money, you have to be creative in what you're going to do. You have to make the most of what you have. I think a corollary to that is too much money makes you stupid, right? If you have lots of money, then you're careless in how you spend the money. But if you don't have it, you're very careful and you're very thoughtful about what you do.
So you say you built your business on 5 pillars. What are they?
So what are the 5 pillars?
It's create and hope, give it back, find product you could love, make it personal, and make it equivalent to it.
So the last one, make it a great place to work. This is pretty simple. What's our mission?
Spreading happiness.
Spreading happiness. And we want to spread happiness. We have to start at home. It's got to be a great place for our colleagues to work. And we've got 5 phases to that. 1, offer people a mission worthy of their commitment. It's got to be something bigger than ourselves. And it can't just be, we're going to make money. And don't get me wrong, we want to make money. John and I were home today. It turns out we like to live indoors. But there has to be something larger, something that at the end of the day, you feel good about doing. And you offer that to our colleagues. And not everybody's going to align with the same thing, but there's got to be some larger purpose. I know you're a big reader. Simon Sinek will say it's your why. Why are you doing this? 2, make sure everybody knows why his or her job matters. There is no cog in the machinery. There is no make work job. There is nothing unimportant. Everybody's job matters. I was talking to another business owner once about this who said, oh, come on now. How can you do that? Say everybody's job matters. I looked at him and I said, what are you doing employing somebody if their job doesn't matter? I don't have the money to do that. And that's everybody from, our head of product development to, we do our own fulfillment, and to the pickers in our pick and pack warehouse. And what do we call our pickers?
Sock wranglers.
Sock wranglers. You can go talk to our sock wranglers, all of whom have a different ability, and every one of them will tell you what the mission is and why their job is important. And then 3, put people in a position to succeed. We were talking about this a little bit off air. Don't ask people to do what they can't do. We don't ask John to do our finances. Find people's strengths and build on those. Put people in a position to succeed and give them the support they need. So if Nick, our webmaster, needs a tool to track traffic at our website, get him that tool. If Kenny, our lead packer, would like a particular type of chair, get him that chair. Now, we're a small business. We don't have endless resources, but give people what they need so they can go and do a great job.
Yeah, that's great.
4, recognize what people do. You care about your podcast. You work at it. Doesn't it feel good when somebody says, hey, Benjamin, that was a great show the other day?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sometimes it's as easy as going out and saying, thank you. Thank you for helping us succeed. And the last, stay the hell out of the way. Let people do their jobs. Right? And if you do all that, you pay attention to people, it works. So that's, making it a great place to work is very important to us. And that shows up in big ways and little ways. It's not about ping pong tables. It's about what you're doing, how you're responding to people. And then, the next one is making it personal. And I know this is really key to you. We're always looking to make personal connections. We're not chasing transactions. We're looking to engage with people. You can see that when we started. The home deliveries, our package. If you order from us, you're going to get great service. We do same-day shipping. And when you get that package, on the outside, you're going to see John's smiling face because he's our logo. You're going to open it up. You're going to get the socks you ordered. You're going to get a handwritten thank you note from John. On the flip side of that is the story of John's crazy socks and highlights our giving back program. You're going to get a package of candy. And on the packing slip, you're going to see a picture and the name of the person who packed your order. So you're not just getting socks. You're getting this little dose of happiness. You're going to open that package and you're going to feel really good. And we're always looking to make that impact, to share that with our customers, right? So you're part of the experience. If you buy from us, you're going to get great socks, but you're also going to help us employ people with different abilities. You're going to help us give back. You help us spread happiness. That becomes an experience for you. Does this make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've always been big. We were talking off camera with the book Now Discover Your Strengths. And like I was watching the YouTube video on how you built the business and how you employ everybody and how you've had a lot of people who are being used to their strengths. And that's what a lot of times the book is about. And if I remember correctly, I seem to remember it being something like about 70 or 80% of people are doing jobs they actually don't enjoy and they're not being utilized to their best strengths. So a lot of times people are put into positions they don't enjoy. The other flip side of it is people are people who are in like upper management focus on what they're doing wrong instead of what they're doing right and how to build off those strengths to get them to do something even better or find out what other abilities are strong. So when you guys approached me to come on the podcast, I watched the video, I was like, wow, like this is awesome. I basically built my life around, around this book, Now Discover Your Strengths. And you went and built a business based off of finding people's strengths and getting them to do that, and then providing a purpose for them. And it's very important that everybody has, a purpose. Why are we here? Why am I doing this? What's the overall goal? And I'm not big on the transaction. And I've talked about this on a couple people's podcasts. The first year of my business, all I did was focus on the transaction. It was like, get the money, get in and out. And then I realized that's never been who I am. I've never been that guy. So why am I operating my business this way? I've always been big on building that experience, that personal relationship, and, make a friend, make a customer, right?
We've been very fortunate, right? If we focus on that, it turns out you get more transactions. But if you just go tracing transactions, it becomes hollow. And this is important for us, for our colleagues, and for our customers. You gotta you got to create there's more than just that transaction. It's more than just that physical thing. We're valuing experiences more, and you got to share that experience and share that purpose. I can relate. One of our colleagues, we told that story. It all sounds smooth and easy. Of course, there have been ups and downs, and we've been ass over heels sometimes. Back in 2019, we came close to going out of business. We had to let people go, and it was ugly. Well, one of the folks that we had let go came back in the beginning of this year. She had gone on, got a great job, does good work. She's very happy in her job. She had a good job, I should say. And when we had an opening, she called up and said, I want to come back. I've never been so happy. It never felt so good as when I worked at John's Crazy Socks. She actually took a pay cut to come back. And she's happy all the time. Why? Because she's working on something that matters, that makes her feel good. And, at the end of 40 hours, well, it's more than just a paycheck. It's like, what am I doing with my life? And she's able to get that here. So work becomes nourishing, not exhausting.
Yeah.
Right. But then on the customer experience, once you make that commitment, if that's a deep conviction, it will show up in everything you do. So I'll give you some examples. Your email list is among your most valuable assets, right? We have 245,000 Facebook followers. In many ways, that's a vanity statistic. I can't contact them. They belong to Facebook. But our email list, that we can contact. And every time we send out an email, we see a little blip in sales. So it's really tempting to send out a lot of emails. There are some companies I get 4 emails a day from.
Oh man, I hate those.
You don't want email, right? Don't you? Right?
I can't stand it.
So here's what we do. We've collected over 250,000 emails. We send out 2 campaigns a week, 2 emails a week. We're not going to inundate you. And we only send that to around 90,000 people. We only send it to people that want to get the email. If you stop opening the emails, we stop sending them to you. We don't want to bother you. And one of those emails is John's Friday email. All it is John telling you what he's up to, right?
Right.
It's just John sharing what's on his mind. There are no sales. We're not pushing anything. It's just John making a connection with you. Well, guess what? So, if you're sending out emails, one of the metrics you're going to look at is what's your open rate. And you want to make sure you're above 20%. If you start getting up to 30%, you're doing really well. We have a 54% open rate because we're connecting with customers. And those customers then share and bring more people into us. So the more we can do for others, the more we can take care of people, the better off we are. Here are other ways. If you have email, you're going to segment your email so you can send things to particular folks. So we do our own fulfillment. We segment our fulfillment. Everybody gets the same thing, the thank you note, the candy. But there are 5 different packages. So if this is your first order, Benjamin, you're getting one package. If it's your second order, you get a different one. A third order, different, and so on. Right? Anything we can do to personalize that, make it a little different. If you call us, you never get voicemail. You don't get that voice trail. You're going to actually talk to a person. And you're going to talk to one of our happiness creators. There's no scripts. We don't listen in on the phone calls. You're going to have an actual human conversation. And they can do whatever they want to take care of you. I mean, you've heard the old saw, the customer is always right. Nonsense. The customer can be dead wrong.
Yep.
But we're not in the business of being right. We're in the business of spreading happiness. So our happiness creators, they'll refund money. We guarantee happiness. Right? If you contact us, we've had people contact us 2 years later. We give them their money back. We give them new socks, whatever we can. We've ordered other products to send to people. We're going to take care of you. Guess what? Our refund rate is less than 0.5 of 1%. Right? Take care of people. Have a good product and take care of people. Right? It keeps showing up in what we do.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, that's a big thing. You want to make things easy. You want it to be personalized. And I like to say this, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And it's interesting, like even on Sunday, right? And today's Monday. I get this phone call from this client. They're talking to me, and they basically say to me, so like, you're the same guy in the YouTube videos that I'm talking to right now? Yep, I'm the same guy that is in the YouTube videos. Really? And you're picking up the phone? Well, yeah. like, why wouldn't I? I mean, obviously not a lot of these people know that I'm a one-man business, because I give off a perception that I'm bigger than that, and I have a kind of a corporate image with the website and everything. But that's because my vision is that I'm going to have multiple locations and we're going to franchise this thing and whatever, right? But that's my vision, right? So, I always want to make sure that everybody has that they know they can contact us and that we're going to take care of them. But I definitely don't ship products like you guys do. That's for sure. I don't ship it that often. I'm more of a install on site, talk to the customer. We talk directly to them and try and build a relationship there. We do some personalized things, like lately we've been doing like little YouTube shorts of their vehicle, little 15-second videos. We show it to them typically, and a lot of times we'll even send it to them so they can share it to their friends, and a lot of people really like that little personal touch. And we also do personalized video thank yous a few days after the installation. So that's kind of like a big thing. We utilize a software, and when we have links for, like our Google review page, we have links for a support page. So if they forget how to do something, they can link to the support page. We have a lot of those kinds of things. It's a little bit different. And I mean, I just think about that, you guys knocking on doors and everything, and how you've changed it. And it seems very cool. The little card handwritten that you're putting in there, showing who was involved in making this package come to their door.
Yeah, it's people. It's not a bunch of machines. And when you're a small business, it's a challenge you face. We face it. We're a little bit larger, but still, how do you got very limited resources. How do you meet all this demand? At the same time, and you were talking before we went on air about Starbucks, there's a challenge as you grow. How do you maintain that personal touch? And we all know businesses that lose it. And this is very important to us. And it runs, a lot of this is because it's very personal business. Products. Every product we sell, among other things, what has to happen?
I can be behind.
John's got to approve it. And everybody knows that, right? So now, when we started, we did everything, or we picked all the products. Now we're developing our own lines. But once you convey to folks, well, John's got to be behind this. That it's more than just a checklist of things. It's understanding at a very personal level, and that goes into everything we do. We've had folks come in and, why are you sending out candy? You don't have to do that. The note's enough. Drop the candy. It's just costing you money. No, that's part of what we do. That's part of the connection. And, you mentioned videos. You make videos all the time.
I did.
You share on social media. John will make a little video thanking you. And and that's what we shared too. It's our most popular videos, nothing to do with socks. It's got to do with John dancing, right? And so we have if our mission is spreading happiness, particularly during the pandemic when everybody's isolated, what do? One thing we did, we wanted to say thank you to frontline workers. We created healthcare superhero socks. They raised over $50,000 for the American Nurses Foundation,
right,
for their COVID-19 relief fund. But here's one of the things we did. What do you do every Tuesday afternoon?
Every Tuesday, I hold a dance party every Tuesday at 3 p.m. I did an online dance party.
John hosts an online dance party. What better way to spread happiness than an online dance party? We started doing a Facebook Live show, which we still do, right? If everybody's isolated and disconnected, that's how we could reach them. And that's now evolved into us doing a podcast.
Right.
And what's the name of that podcast?
I Bring Happy Podcast.
It's just trying to bring 30 minutes of joy to people.
Yeah, I think that's great because, I think the big problem right now with experiences in general is a lot of companies are looking at it as an expense. And especially right now with kind of what's going on with inflation and a few things, people are going, this is just an expense. We'll just get rid of it. And as they get rid of it, they're ruining their brand of kind of who they are, their personalization of who they are. And if a lot of these things that you guys are doing, if you enjoy doing it, your customers enjoy it, you really got to keep that going and keep that engagement with your audience. And because also it sounds like you guys are having fun. But if you got rid of that because you looked at it as going, oh, that's, an hour of time that, John could be doing, something else, right? That would bring more money in, right? I mean, you can't look at it like that. You have to look at like kind of the big picture, and I look at everything as a long-term investment. Everything's a long-term investment with your customers, with your clients, with your friends, with everybody, right?
We're in this for the long haul. We're in this, when we started, one of the reasons to create the business was to give John meaningful work. Well, John's 26. Right. So he's got a long time ahead of him. We're not VC back. We don't have to hit 10x revenue tomorrow. We want to grow steadily. Oh, we want to grow. We want to get much larger, but it doesn't have to happen overnight. And you build those relationships, and that will sustain you.
It's great. Do you guys have any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If we go back to something I said before, if we strip things out, then all we're doing is selling socks, and that's an impossible situation. Because what are you left saying? Ours are better than yours.
I never smell it.
They don't smell like yours, right? How do you stand out? But there's nobody that does what we do.
I think I got one last question, I think, to round it up. And I think this is a good question. If there's one thing you could change in the entire world today, what would it be and why?
What would you change?
There
would be really important things. Like I would make Zach Wilson a better quarterback.
Yes.
It was
you're still upset about that football game your team lost.
you I don't think ever saw this movie in Woody Allen's film Sleeper. He wakes up in the future, and you know what he finds out?
Yeah.
Bacon is a health food. Listen. We talk about spreading happiness. One thing is we need more empathy. We need more acts of imagination of getting out of ourselves and seeing the world from another person's point of view so that we can see what we have in common. In the U.S., we're living in an ugly time. People are so angry, and they're at each other's throats. I have a personal experience of 14 years ago. So I helped lead a campaign in our town to change the town charter. And we had this odd coalition. We had progressives who weren't welcome in the local Democratic Party. We had Tea Party people and conservatives working together. Well, the year before, in the presidential campaign, those same people stood on opposite street corners screaming at each other. And yet, when we worked together on this campaign to change the town charter, they'd come over our house and break bread. We'd have like 30, 40 people in the house. And they'd be talking to each other and finding what they had in common and laughing and enjoying. That's what we need more of. See what we have in common. See what we can do together. That would be good.
I think that's great. That's what I was telling my wife as well is, when I'm going to like I said, we're going to that networking event in Nashville here next week. And I said, these are like a lot of these people, we've broke bread with them, as they like to say, shared a meal. And because of that, we have these very big relationships. We've found common ground for us to come together on. And I think that's a great analogy of what you just said there.
Yeah.
You
have some advice for people?
I do. Follow your heart, follow your dream, work hard, so you can do.
Yeah. Oh, plus got to put in a plug.
I'll go at johnscrazysocks.com.
johnscrazysocks.com. World's largest sock store, right?
Right.
And when you go there, you buy something, you get something for yourself or somebody else, you're going to get great socks. Right. You're going to help us hire people with different abilities. More than half our colleagues have a different ability. And we didn't really talk about all the stuff we do there. You can help us give back. We've raised over $550,000 for our charity partner.
Absolutely.
Most of all, you're going to spread happiness. We love what we hear from customers, and just putting on the socks makes me happy.
I appreciate you guys coming on and spending time with us today. I think everybody's going to get a lot of value out of this. We definitely dive right deep into like mission, vision, and values. You were just talking about how you built your company, and I really appreciate your time today. This was great.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you. This is an enjoyable conversation. We love talking about customer experience.
Oh, yeah.